that in the chuck. Chisel already sharpened. Finding on a switch. Make it go fast. So first thing you do is
That's an economy model.
you have your 1 5/8 Foston bit set ready to go. Suspect we're getting pretty close to that. Eight. My lathe is 2. Really no cramp?
I think they had them originally, but everyone was, oh no, some of them had it.
Fortunately, I don't have to do this again. Now I usually have a dead center that, I mean a live center that fits that.
You wanted to fit that whole can?
Well, what's that? That's supposed to come apart? Not gonna work anyway. Nah, that's all right, I don't need it. I want to get a big wormhole in this piece of cherry. That's not going to help. You're just going to have to deal with it. It's going to have character. Not a mistake. All right, so we're going to learn. I don't know. He thinks. I'll leave it up. There it is. Maybe I do need it.
You think that, I'm not sure. Oh, we're inside.
Good thing about Acorn is every some are really short, others are pretty long and thin. So what you're trying to Somebody can say that doesn't look like an acorn. They pretty much all do. And you want the bottom to come somewhere, because it's an ornament, wants to be light, so it doesn't take the tree branch down. We don't want to leave too often on the top. More, well, point down. We'll be turning this around and facing that off later. Set that aside for now. Get rid of again. Keeping in mind you want it light. Top. That's why I start out with an inch and right up to the top too. Let's have the switch over here. Tight still.
This is the first time he's ever done this.
Yeah, so there's 5 brand new ones as of today sitting on my bench. So that'll fit fine. Just gotta make the rest of the top.
Tools he's been using?
We don't have to get too fancy because we're gonna come back to this one. So we're done with that.
And what was the length again, 4.5 inches?
Yep. I actually wrote all this out, and I'm just gonna print it out. You know, as I get older, I drop a lot more stuff.
I don't bend over anytime, I wait till I get 3 or 4 things done.
I don't like changing jaws on trucks, I hate it, so. I have 7 trucks now, I think.
Hey,
My brother gave me one, I bought one for my son who decided he didn't really need to be a turner. I'll make sure. too much pressure there to pop that thing off. Now we're just gonna dress this end up a little bit.
Because they're not selling, or you're going too fast?
What's that?
Because they're not selling, or you're going too fast?
I make them a lot faster than I thought I did. I started feeling guilty. I mean, you could almost make money making these. Not right for wood carvers. I don't get too fancy sanding them. They're inexpensive. I don't go past 220. Speed. Center in there, I'll take that up and I'll make a divot. So I'm gonna set the center for my screw out. Most annoying soft start thing that they've come up with so far, other than this, is the heater in my truck. I turn it on, and you sit there, well, did I turn it on hard enough? No. Finally, the blower decides, okay, I guess you really want to sit on. Is that the road grass or what? See if I can do this by hand.
You know, scratch all, when you drew them inside. And you know if you need to scratch all to mark it, or?
Oh, no.
No.
No, this is a speed thing. Spot.
17 minutes?
Oh. Thank you. Got your perch that everybody has behind their ear. No, it fell out. Hearing aids are there. I had a toothpick there. It's gone. All right. No perch. So that's, we have, I don't know if you want me spraying a coat of lacquer in here. Is that,
Probably we ought to pass on that.
okay. I can't.
I don't know.
I gotta have to get it. And I also use a drill, one of those little mini drills, just in the palm of my hand, not electric. So I would do that, put the screw eye in, put a little bead of glue around here, put that on, give it 3 minutes, it'll stay there. Put the screw eye in, hang it up, and spray a coat of lacquer.
Not bad.
How do you make the perch for,
The toothpick.
Toothpick.
oh, toothpick?
Yeah, that's what I was looking
That's
for.
what, he was hungry when he had it behind
Oh,
him.
that's what you're looking for? Okay, I was gonna say, I thought you were adjusting your hearing aid.
No,
Sorry, Kenny.
look for a toothpick, you found hearing aids instead.
Yep. Been here.
Want any of this?
No, I'm good, I think.
I figured.
Okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't want to get blamed for that.
I mean, it's really cute.
Okay, this is going to be a little anticlimactic because my project is nowhere near as involved as the birdhouse. Now, that wasn't very involved, so this is going to be pretty simple. Now, basically, what I decided to concentrate on tonight was to do a little project, use one tool as Kenny did, but I'm going to concentrate more on the use of the tool itself. And just, I've had some questions about, you know, using the gouge and so forth, so that's what I was gonna do. Now, what I'm gonna turn is just the base of this little memo holder, which I've been turning here. So it's gonna be just a simple little disc. We're gonna turn the top, we're gonna turn the bottom, and we're gonna try to do this so that we're gonna sand this with like some 220 sandpaper when we're done. And I'll just show you how that all works out, okay? So, to do that, I've asked Brendan here to move we're going to remove the camera a couple times because, as I said, I'm not so interested in the product as I am the process here in this particular demo that I plan to do here tonight. It was interesting to see Kenny looking for the switch up here and all those types of things, because truly one of the hardest things when you go somewhere to demo is using somebody else's lathe. And you never know what the problem is going to be. I mean, I've been to places where you couldn't even use the lathe. That happened at the Guild of New Hampshire Woodworkers. They got there and the lathe wouldn't even work. Nobody there could get it turned on. Brian and I went over to Woodcraft. It was about maybe 2 years ago, and they had just unpacked the 24-inch Laguna lathe that they have over there. Fantastic machine. machine. So it's out in the back where we're gonna do the demo and all that stuff. We get all the tools out and everything else. Because the first thing you gotta do here when you get ready is turn the lathe on. Couldn't figure out how to turn the damn thing on. Ended up that they have a remote start, remote switch I should say, that you can put anywhere along the bed. And then there's a switch on the headstock. Fantastic. But in order to switch from one to the other, there's a little switch right here in the back. And that took us a good half hour because, you know, the thing's gonna start at 7 o'clock, it's like 10 minutes to 7, still can't turn the stupid lathe on. Really nice lathe, but we can't turn it on. Finally, we got it figured out, so I guess it worked.
Somebody read the book then.
Yes. Okay. So, what I've done here is I've just taken a little piece of maple. I've used double-face tape to stick it to this little 2-inch faceplate. And, you know, that's totally irrelevant. I have one here that I just, real quick, like I glued this to a waste block. And one of the reasons that I wanted to show this is because a lot of times I will do a project like this, where I glue a waste block to the piece and turn it. But I like to use the 8-quarter waste blocks because when I'm done, I just part it off with a 16th-inch parting tool, reuse it, reuse it, reuse it. And so I've got several iterations of waste block for this one. Or, like Wayne does for a lot of his boulders, just take a Forstner bit, drill a hole in here, and use your 4-jaw chuck in the expansion mode, and you can hold it that way too. But, you know, there's a gazillion ways we could hold this thing. Okay, so obviously the first thing we've got to do is we've got to true this thing up. And that's why I've got this here in this position, and we'll get this baby going here and see what we got. We'll crank the speed right up. I've got it about 15 or 1600 RPMs. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and the first thing I'm going to do is put safety glasses on because I can just feel the chips already. We're going to get down here. I'm going to try all through the process today, when the cut is taking place, I've got the bevel of the tool rubbing on the piece, and I'm visually looking at the cut, and I want the cut to be, the tool to be cutting the wood off at 45 degrees to the wood fibers. So what that's going to mean is, I'm going to be in about this position, perfect. And I'm going to bring this in here, and that's about where I'm going to be cutting across here. Notice what the chips are looking like, even though 50% of this piece is in grain. We're still getting a peeling cut. Now if we continue that across, like that, it's wrapping a little bit because it's not round yet, obviously. Now we know we don't want to blow out the back side, so we're going to come back around here and come back in on that edge a little bit. Now I'm not round, I do not believe, no. But you can't probably see it from where you are, but end grain, absolutely no twin grain. Little 220 sandpaper, this would be fine. I've got to take them more off because it's not round yet. Okay. Same thing, and if I could place, it would be at 45 degrees to the wood fibers. And that's going to plane that right off. Still not round. So, I'm holding the tool like this. This tool here is at 45 degrees to the wood fibers, and I'm just going to slide it across, keeping this bevel rubbing right on the side of that tip. Now, some of you might be saying, I was thinking about this, I said, well, if I go like this, and I cut like this, some of you out there are saying, I'm going to celebrate another birthday before he gets that thing squared up. Okay? But I want to assure you that that's exactly not how I would actually be doing that. If I were doing it, you know, to make some pieces here. Hey, I think we're round. Now, luckily in this particular case, I really don't care about the size here. I'm not 3 3/4 is about what I'm shooting for, but I don't know if you can see here, but we have absolutely no tone grain whatsoever. None. Okay, we're going to touch that up with a little 220 sandpaper and that'll be it. Okay, so that's how we would do the outside here. Now, if you could bring that around here, I'm going to do the face of this project. Now we're going to come down to the front, and again, the goal is going to be to turn this whole thing and have it as close to being finished as we possibly can. Remember, you know, early on when I was first beginning turning and stuff, you know, you hear all these people saying, you know, I'm going to start sanding at 220. And I can remember very vividly saying, that's just not going to happen. You know, give me some 60 and we'll have at this thing. But as you get a little bit more comfortable with the tool, okay, it comes to you. Now we're going to be using today on this face here a pull cut. Basically what I was showing you here is what they refer to as a push cut, because I've got the tool behind and I'm pushing it across this way. Okay? In this particular case, the action obviously is going to be a pull cut. We're going to get the same exact methodology and geometry here. At any time, I want to, if I could freeze it, I want this cutting edge, and I am using the side of the tool, just to the side of center. I want that to be at 45 degrees to the wood fibers themselves. So we can face this off. Oops. Tool rest was just a little bit too high. I put it up here, and I said, boy, I can't reach that. So again, that's going to come right across there. I'm going to plane that right off. Right now, we just got to get it round, or flat, I should say. Give us a couple of warm-up passes here, just to get that thing flat. I don't know, you can't see the surface there really doesn't show up, but even now, we're really smooth. So now we're going to start the shaping process. We're going to use that sort of a modified OG curve. The reason I started making these this way is because this is one of the first one of these little memo holder things that I got hold of, and now when you get them, they've got a black plastic washer that comes with it that's supposed to be decorative. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I toss it when I break. But anyway, that kind of is why I use these things. Interesting about pricing. I took a bunch of these up to Hanover yesterday, and I had a price of $27.50 on these things. Now, remember, when you take stuff, the league takes 45%. Okay? But, on the other hand, it's kind of like what Kenny was talking about. It doesn't take you very long to make one of these stupid things, you know? So, I didn't feel guilty, but yeah, anyway, but I went up there and I had them all tagged at $27.50, and she said, no. She put them out on the shelf for $45.
Wow.
Which, of course, didn't say no. We'll see if they sell. You know, that's going to be the point here. Okay, so, you know, this is these first few cuts are just like hollowing a bowl. When you start hollowing out a bowl, you don't care what the finish looks like. So what I tell people is, that's all practice. So practice, get your tool right, Then when you make that last cut, you've got it in place. So, you know, at some point now, we could stop this and take a look at the finish and say, you know, is it good? Not good. Whatever. But these, they don't matter. So what I'm going to do right now is what's going to be the outside of the front. And I don't know if you can actually see, but that tool, where that chip is coming off of here, is at 45 degrees to our wood fibers at all times. Doesn't like it when it starts a little thin right here, but that's okay. I'll probably make that just a little bit smaller there. Shaping process. Now what I'm going to do, I've got the general shape. What I'm going to do now is to convert from a standard, just a shear cut, to what they refer to as a shear scrape. I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to tip it right over. So my tool here, instead of using it in this position here where the cutting edge is going to be at 45, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my gouge as a scraper by turning it right over. But I'm going to turn it over enough so that it is at 45 degrees this way. So that I'm going to get an absolutely nice cut by turning it this way. I'm going to move this tool rest around so that it gives me a little bit more support underneath. But I'm using the side of the tool now and we're going to come right over here with that cut. Take a little bit more here. My half hour up there?
Pretty close.
Like I told Ken, 27 minutes. Just trying to get my shape where I want it to. And that's the other thing, I mean, an acorn is one thing, but we really don't have to worry about what's going to be taking place here.
You probably don't talk that much in your shop.
I don't. If I am, I'm losing a conversation here, an argument with myself. I just got one little... Actually, the person that I learned from, Russ Zimmerman, used to have a studio up in Westminster, Vermont. He used to take two people, I guess, for a weekend class. And he said, when you're doing something like this, you get a perfect cut, but you have to have a few little ridges, particularly when you try to make a transition cut like this. And he said, and that is what they made sandpaper for. Take those little ridges out of there. But I'm going to see if I can get that just a tad bit out of there. See if I can get a few more of those ridges out of there. I was going to pass it around, but there's a little dig that No. Just in there and just clean that up just a little bit. Didn't take too much. And now, you know, as I said, I would probably, in reality, I would sand that probably with 180 and then 220 and 320. But we'll just toss that around. I've got another one up here. And you can see that I wasn't lying to you anyway. Okay, so What we've done here is have the same exact thing. I put a friction polish on this, and a lot of, like, if it's not going to be used for food, or if it's not going to be handled a lot, it's going to be set on a desk or whatever, I'm really not using the friction polish. And the process would be, and many of you know about this already, this is a mixture of shellac and alcohol. It's a de-waxed shellac, cut 50% with alcohol. And it's just a wash coat. And I've got the brush on here. I put a coat of that on there, wipe it with a paper towel, and then go ahead and use a friction polish, which is boiled linseed oil and shellac basically. And put a nice gloss finish on here. And much like what Kenny did, what I do at this point is drill a hole in there, and I don't need to drill it because I've got a hole already in this one. But what I wanted to mention was, I think, all things considered, that drilling a hole in a piece of wood is probably one of the most dangerous operations we do. And the reason is, and I had a teaching aid, and I couldn't find it before I came here, I have a 1/2-inch twist drill that is L-shaped, like this.